Are Warpfire throwers any good? Alright, it's time to do a deep dive into the weapons teams. I'm going to asterisk this whole section and say, not Icket Claw, so that you know it's for the base unit without Icket's special sauce. The throwers are useful for everyone. Icket just makes them better. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page. You're keeping me as honest as a Skaven warlord can be, yes, yes. Let's get one thing out of the way. This is a base Skaven unit. DLC is not required per se. If all you have is base Warhammer 2, then you can use this unit. On Ultra, this team comes in at 32 models, with 3936 health spread between them. These are important numbers, and you should never lose sight of their being kind of flimsy. On the other hand, 70 armor means that not everything will break them with ease. Trolls will, since their monsters inflict fear and are armor piercing. Leadership is 50, speed is 38, but strength in numbers will sap that by 10%. Melee attack is 16, with an attack interval of 4.3. I really have no idea why the Datamine stats have a max splash targets damage of 5 in melee, and a splash target size of 0, but if it isn't affecting gameplay, nobody cares, so I'm going to stop mentioning it for Skaven infantry. Melee defense is 16, but you didn't expect them to have tons, did you? Weapon strength is 18, split between 14 base and 4 armor piercing, and that's bottom of the roster level. Charge bonus is 2. I know you weren't expecting much, but still. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff, the quote-unquote ranged attacks. Ammunition is listed as 72, but spoiler alert, the throwers fire 4 shots per volley. Keep that in mind as I read through this. Range is 80 meters. Missile base damage on a direct hit is 8, armor piercing is 3, detonation radius is 3 meters, explosion base damage is 20, and the explosion armor piercing damage is 7. Reload time is 14. Total accuracy is listed at the standard 20, calibration distance is 40, which means that the Warpfire has an extra degree of inaccuracy past half its default range. Calibration area is 1.7, so considering the short range, there's a pretty decent amount of spread to the flame attacks. Something to mention is that strength in numbers jacks up melee defense by 8 and leadership by 6 as long as the unit holds. When the unit breaks, usually it's running pretty fast, from a minus 10% debuff to speed to a plus 10% buff, so this matters most when facing faster opponents, or when fighting on a wall and being trapped like, rats. So even for this unit, not intended for melee, melee defense is really 24 while it is actively fighting. What we can say without any buffs or any other considerations comes down to this. The Warpfire throwers are exceptional at clearing chaff infantry. The Warpfire throwers are of limited value when in contact with the enemy. They can get off a few shots, but that's it. The Warpfire throwers lose value the smaller the number of enemy models, and the higher armor those models have. The throwers do less damage against, for instance, Longbeards and Chaos Warriors, but it's not nothing, it's just a slow burn, pun intended. So in ascending order, their problems start with Armored Infantry, Cavalry, Monstrous Units, Armored Cavalry, Armored Monstrous Units, Low Armor Single Entities, High Armor Single Entities. So I've seen without any special effort to coddle, Warpfire throwers do 16,000 damage or even 30,000 damage in a trapped in a dark alley ambush scenario. As in, I had 3 units and one did 16k and another did 30k. I've also seen them struggle to get 3,000. When the enemy trolls you with a troll-heavy and squig-heavy army, the Warpfire throwers suffer. And if you're getting charged by Empire Knights, kiss your telltale goodbye. All that said, clumps of swordsmen, spearmen, halberdiers get into range of archers or crossbowmen, they're dead, burned, scorched, and it's not going to be close. So how do we make them better? Barring the influence of heroes and looking only at the Lord Redlawns, Blastmaster is what you're looking for, offering a maximum of plus 20% ammunition and 8% reload time reduction, which I've often praised as basically a straight shot of DPS injected into your flamethrower. Warp Smart offers rank 7 and above Vets leadership plus 5, plus 12% missile strength, and 15% spell resistance. Interestingly, the tech tree offers some serious help later in the game. Enormous Caches grants plus 25% ammunition, and even shaves 5% off your upkeep. Ensure product quality. Yes, a revolutionary concept. Jacks missile damage up plus 10%, and also bumps up range by 10%. Reject poor recruits, improves recruit rank by 2, requisition protective gear adds plus 10 to armor. Remember, this is all without any help by heroes or special boosts from buildings. I know there's a common hero trait that reduces upkeep by 12%. Variety is not a problem with the Skaven. Now, how about using them in campaign and battle in general? The bottom line is that they absolutely have downsides, but this is a tier 2 building unit for 550 base gold and 138 base upkeep. If all you want is an option to annihilate 4 nasty skulkers and 10 orc boys in a single ambush, grab 3 of these and don't look back. Employing them is not really complicated, just a bit risky. Checkerboard lines with infantry, or ideally, putting a stiff-necked, strong-tailed lord or hero in the line of Warpfire and burning down everything around him. I've tried this with Queek and chieftains. It works. You just need a plan to deal with the survivors trickling past. Also, like I said, mass troll armies or things of similar bent tend to be very powerful against you, even though the flaming damage is pretty valuable against them back. You need a plan for anti-large, mostly because this unit is such a thorough solution to clearing low-tier infantry. You don't need anything else. What if they get beat up and routed? Well, hopefully you still won the battle, but chances are half the unit is intact, and you will call the losses acceptable. You didn't pay that much for this unit, after all. Of course, the advantages are a bit compromised by the friendly Warpfire issue, because it's not really friendly. That's why using heroes, which the Skaven should not lack, is valuable, but hey, they're just heroes. If the enemy simply runs past them, or runs them over, you still have problems. You need a plan to deal with the marauding hordes breaking through. Well, since they come from the same building, although they require DLC unlike the throwers, you can just get a warp grinder unit or 2 and use that to help stall and create space. It's not a complete solution, but it'll help. Other than that, just build for anti-large as a backup plan, because plan A, making your enemies die screaming engulfed by Warpfire, works great for most everything else. Take care and have fun! Some Skaven just want to watch the world burn.